Daniel can't make it.
It's another political show. We're still discussing Iran versus Israel. And today, America jumped into the party, and we meet to discuss that is Mustafa and Kunle Williams. You guys are welcome to the show.
Okay, welcome. So there's not much to say. I'm just going to repeat what I said before. I think Trump was trying to straddle the fence on this. He was trying to please Israel and please the war hawks by doing a strike so he could look authoritative. But he's also trying to please people who want peace by saying, I only attacked the nuclear sites. And I called Iran afterwards and told them that I'm not going to try to overthrow their government and I'm not going to try to destroy the country so long as they don't retaliate. It doesn't work that way because Iran immediately sent missiles to Israel, and Israel and Iran are going to be going back and forth. And Israel will be asking Trump, aren't you going to help us again? And he's going to do something stupid again, and this thing is going to escalate beyond control. What I foresee, though, is that apparently Iran's missiles are very good. I'll get to Kunle. They sent a new missile. They haven't used them. Missiles are getting more and more effective, and the duration between missiles is getting less. So they're slowly intensifying the intensity. And clearly, Iran and Russia right now make the best missiles in the world. Hypersonic and then cruise missiles. America doesn't have this. They have to use a heavy plane that weighs 158,000 kgs to drop a heavy bomb that weighs 30,000 kgs. So they're using heavy, slow things. Israel is also using air jets to fly, and they're shooting some missiles, but their defense systems are not defending against these missiles. So what these guys are using is, like Kunle said, the new style of warfare. Iran is just using missiles. That's all they need. Missiles going in there. And very soon we'll probably start seeing anti-air missiles from Iran too. What do you think of, Kunle?
Yeah, we're already seeing that. That's actually what is made up. Iran's defense system isn't made up of interceptor jets. It's made up of what they call SAMs, or surface-to-air missiles. That's what they are made up, and then their offenses are made of ballistic, so they don't need an air force to engage in this combat.
Less money, less fuel, less cost to their economy.
Yes, and when they claim that they have 3,000 missiles, I'm beginning to think, I'm not sure whether they have 3,000. Do they have 30,000 or 300,000? I don't know if that number is 3,000.
I think it's closer to 200,000 to 300,000 that they've been building up. But here's the thing about war. Don't tell people what you have. It's a mystery, and that's the way it should be. But from the way Iran is fighting, they're very well organized. They're not nervous. They're not begging America. So they know something we don't know. They're not stupid. If they only had 3,000 missiles, they wouldn't be behaving the way they're behaving now. We'll get back to you, Kunle. What do you think about that point, Afolabi? Yeah.
I quite agree with you. The Iranian missiles are very, very effective. And the cost of the Iron Dome intercepting those missiles is higher to Israel than the missiles Iran is using to attack them. Those missiles are effective and they're cheaper to produce. And most of them are tactical projectiles that you can't even detect. A lot of them have been, have overwhelmed the...
Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. Today, when there were 2 missiles, and Israel said that there was no alarm siren going off. That means that so they don't even know their alarm. So it means that these guys are now making missiles that can't be detected. Sorry, continue. Yeah.
Meaning that the Iron Dome itself is fallible if it's overwhelmed by large consortium of missiles.
It's abysmal.
It's abysmal. So basically, US has attacked them. I expect a swift response within the next 48 hours because they all have this plan out. It's like a chess game. They're going to respond. And I don't know why...
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because I don't know why US decided to attack Iran, because this is not their war. This is Israel's war. And Israel's goal of changing the regime in Iran cannot be achieved by an air campaign. It has never been done historically before. It's always an invasion. You can't remove people in power without an invasion. And US is never going to do that. They can't even try Israel. So an air raid can only delay, waste weaponry and stuff. So it's just a waste of time. I think Donald Trump did this just to be like a showman or something. Even Tulsi Gabbard, told him plainly that there were no nuclear weapons in Iran. He shut her up by saying that she didn't know what she was saying, that she was wrong. So he's even turning against his MAGA people. I don't know where this will lead him anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but going back, so Iran has to weigh his options well. If I were Iran, I wouldn't strike America. Here's why. You have to be proportionate. if what America did to you, they're trying to goad you to attack them, just keep attacking Israel and say, okay, America, thank you, and keep on, because America hasn't reached that high level threshold for me. If they want to, they can attack American bases. I think it's okay. I don't think America's going to step. If they attack American bases, it might embarrass Trump. But you have to remember, Trump has removed all of his forces from that area. Those planes moved out. So if they attack a bases, they might kill one or two people. But if I were them, I'd be more strategic. Just like in chess. This is chess. Use your brain, not your emotions. You have to ask yourself, what did America do to you? Did it kill any of your people? No. So maybe they can attack a nearby American base, don't kill anybody, or maybe they just ignore it and continue pummeling Israel, because that's the main thing. Continue embarrassing Israel. By attacking Israel, you're attacking America anyway, because Israel, someone said it, Israel, you can't decapitate Israel. What do they mean by decapitate? Is to take away their leaders, because Israel is not a state. It's a tentacle of America. So by attacking Israel, they are directly attacking America, as far as I'm concerned, because Israel is not a sovereign state. It's just an appendage of the U.S. So by them continually fighting America, that's part of the broader Israel. Fighting Israel is part of the broader strategy of fighting America. You don't need to hit an American target directly. Israel is an American target. When you're hitting Israel, you're striking the American empire. So maybe they can wait before they attack, because it'll be more provocative to attack American soldiers. Keep on hitting them. A lot of the soldiers that in Israel anyway are Americans. They're mercenaries and stuff that they send over there. What do you think, Kunle? Yeah.
Yes, what America is trying to do in the Western media is they are trying to conflate nuclear enrichment of uranium with making of a nuclear bomb. What they are saying is that Iran has uranium that is reached almost to weapons grade level, and that for them is enough. And they're claiming that they're weeks away, but they've been saying since the 90s that they're weeks away. And but there's never been any claim that there's been any attempt to make a nuclear bomb. That's simply a creation. And whilst we continue with that argument, everybody ignores the fact that Israel has nuclear weapons, that Israel is not part of the non-nuclear proliferation treaty, that Israel is actually in conflict of all of those, that Israel is a country that has attacked almost all of its neighbors. That is also ignored. And you look at the Western stories, and if you look at BBC and Sky, all they're saying in BBC and Sky, the British are saying, we're not involved, we're not involved. The French are saying, we're not involved. That's all they're saying. They're not saying whether it's right or wrong. They're just saying they're not involved. Some of them are giving him a little pat on the back, saying, but they're all saying, but yes, well done, Trump, but we were not involved.
Some of them are even saying naughty boy. They're saying, no, it's wrong, but they're saying, thou dost protest too lightly.
Yes, no. Giving him a slap on the back in public. Starmer gave him a slap on the back in public, like, well done, Trump, but I had nothing to do with it. And
Europeans are some charlatans, man.
Yeah, they're because the thing is that what has now happened is that there's been an abuse of international law. And this is basically giving a green light to China to take Taiwan, because clearly now we're seeing might is right. The hypocrisy of making a joke out of the law has made a joke out of the UN, and all the basic charters and laws they are meaningless, because also a flagrant breach of international law to attack a nuclear installation unless you've suffered a nuclear attack already. And Iran hasn't launched any nuclear. You cannot launch preemptive strikes against nuclear facilities. The biggest concern is that whether there's any nuclear radiation fallout. The fact that there wasn't tells me that they have not done any damage to those bases.
They did damage. Yeah, they did damage.
If they had done damage to those bases with enriched uranium in them, assumedly, it would have been severe. And also we saw trucks outside. They saw trucks videoed before the strike, about 16 hours before the strike. There were a lot of trucks taking stuff out of those bases before the attack happened.
No. So some people even believe that they telegraphed the attack to Iran. They say we're going to strike at this time. This is how it works. It's like WW, I kid you not. Do you remember last year when Biden was in office, Israel was striking Iran. So Iran said we have to strike back. So Iran told America when they would send the missiles. And then they sent missiles towards Israel, and America shot them out of the sky. So they probably told, and this is why I say this thing becomes like a game. it's like, it's almost, am I saying it's exactly like, it's almost like Trump saying, please, Georgia, I have to look good now, I'm going to attack you. That type of thing. You understand? It's scripted.
Yeah. Like a game, and he thinks that all he does is strikes. He will never do any war. And that's where Israel are.
You can't take over a country unless you can't control a country unless you put ground troops, and that's not going to happen. Yeah. The best they can hope for, and if they think that Mujahideen will come in and take over Iran on the ground, that won't happen. But even if that did happen, they'll now have Iran as a terrorist state, which will be more dangerous towards Israel, because Mujahideen does not like Israel either. So if there's a regime change, they may get people who will actually hate Israel and go further. What do you think, Kule? And then we'll go to Afolabi.
Yeah, well, as we saw, these defenses are half a kilometer deep. This is a missile war. This is not. This is a missile war. The only advantage that America and Israel have is that they have jets. But the jets as an advantage in the war is looking like not so much of an advantage.
Yeah.
Yes, the question is how good are Iran's SAM missile defenses, and will they be able to maintain? Because I think that's what they're using in defense against the jets. How successful? I don't know really how Iran has been let off.
Yeah, they're not super successful, but they've knocked down F-35, 3 F-35. But you know what's funny? Russia said that they offered to give Iran an absolute anti-air missile system, but Iran said they didn't want it. You know, the Russians have that shit, and they can scramble. They can do electronic interference with your planes and everything. But that will happen. It will happen. We're actually looking at the new era of war. I actually like this era of war better than ground warfare. You understand? More people get killed during ground warfare. Yeah.
This is a war of drones and missiles, and I think aircraft carriers and planes are going to become obsolete in this next coming war. This one's going to be about drones. Because it's a war between two countries that don't share borders. You lose a lot more when you have a pilot shot down than if you have a drone that's being flown by someone, eating a packet of Doritos in Utah.
Or in the case of Nigeria, if Nigeria ever joins it, eating Begiria or eating chin-chin.
Or you could even be working from home in any random part of the world, flying a drone to go and do whatever.
And that's dangerous because you're pressing buttons, you're killing people, but you're not involved in the act of killing people, which that makes it more dangerous though, because it's easier to kill somebody from a distance than to stab them psychologically, you press a button, you don't feel you've done anything, that type of thing.
Yeah, also,
anyway, what are your thoughts? Go ahead.
Drones, I think, quickly, I think the tactic is that they send 9 old cheap drones with 1 ballistic missile. And that's why Israel is always 90% down, but every single target that has been aimed at has been hit and hit hard. So they actually deliberately sent.
And now they're using missiles that the alarms don't go off because they weren't expecting them. Let me tell you something. I'll say it again. Iran has, every couple of years, somebody from Iran wins the Nobel Prize for physics. That's all I have to say. Their educational system is par none, especially for math and
have female lecturers, they have female professors. They do not discriminate against women.
Oh no, there's a female from Iran who won the math Nobel Prize some years ago. But so what I'm trying to say is that America is spending all this money on old, outdated weapons that they don't even make hypersonic missiles, and the children in America aren't getting education. So this is how you see the downing of the American empire, is through not spending on education, not spending on innovation, and America doesn't have a vision. For example, Iran has a vision. Every child in Iran is told that, we're next to Israel, they're trying to destroy us, America's trying to destroy us. So your duty as an Iranian is to be well educated and to protect your country. Same thing in Russia. In Russia, when you grow up, they say you have to learn math, you have to learn how to do this, because if you don't, other countries will take over you. In America, they say, well, children use screen time, watch TV 8 hours a day, eat McDonald's, and go to bed and don't do their homework. And also, they don't have a vision. Yeah. In America, we don't tell our children what is America's goal. If I was going to teach my children what America should be, is, hey, look, we are a big country. We have a lot of power. We have energy. Let's create things. Let's create high-speed trains. Let's manufacture. Let's beat the world in medical technology. But no, they said, no, let's go get guns and shoot people. What are your thoughts, Afolabi?
Yeah, I agree with you. Basically, what I think is that Israel's strategy is I think is ill-advised. They said their goals are to stop Iran from having a nuclear capacity. force regime change and make them surrender unconditionally. And the way they're going about it, I don't think they can ever achieve this. Depending on US shows that they're very weak because US themselves cannot help them to achieve these goals. You have rightly mentioned that if you're going to force a regime change, you need boots on the ground. It has to be a full-scale invasion. They can't do that with their air capabilities. It's never going to happen. And then if you look at their nuclear sites, I think now that Iran doesn't have any nuclear weapons and Israel is saying they have it, I think there's a collective resolve for them to now start building towards it. And in a year or two, whatever it is Israel must have damaged, they would have resuscitated it. So they can never eliminate that threat. That threat will always be there. They can't eliminate it by a military campaign. And if you look at surrendering, Iraq and Iran fought a war for 8 years. Iranians are diehard and they're durable. They're not going to give up without a fight.
No, they're diehard.
So I don't know how Israel intends to achieve this. They are deluded to feel that the campaign is going to end quickly. This could take months or even years.
Yeah, and the thing is that Iran doesn't want to overtake Israel. All we ask is to leave Palestine alone. Let Palestine we know Palestine doesn't have much land. Let them have their small land. Let them eat. Let them do simple farming and fishing. You have Israel, then you have Iran, and let's build the Middle East. All of those guys can live in peace. They can do it very easily. That's why I'm saying Israel's being used by America. It's greed. And they program these Israeli people. They show them on TV. They said, they showed up, and they have Ethiopians who come there and become citizens. Do you care about killing children? I don't care. I don't like children. I don't hate children. I just bomb them. So they've built a citizenry that's psychopaths. From the young age, they probably teach them that people from Palestine are animals. So the average Israeli person says, yes, I like to see the children get bombed. I've never seen a country like that. It looks like Nazi Germany. What are your last thoughts on that, Kunle, before we head out? Yeah. Is Kunle out?
I think it's
they did in Israel with chilling results. That's 83% of all Israelis wanted the Palestinians out. 83% of the Israeli population want to see the Palestinians.
They want to kill Palestinians or they want to see Palestine free?
83%. I think I've lost the signal.
Yeah, go ahead again. What were you saying? 83%? 83% what? Yeah.
Yeah. And 83%, there was a poll, and in a chilling poll, 83% of the Israeli population said that they wish to see the Palestinian people holocausted, wiped out.
Oh, yeah.
Wiped off the face of Gaza.
Yep.
83% of them.
So that's scary. They've created a monster. They've created monsters.
That's chilling.
And this is the weak link of the whole world.
Yeah. Basically, Germany. That's not.
Yeah, it's Nazi Germany.
That's a culture of murderous hate that has been instilled into a population, and there's nothing you can do to change that, except for that population to end in violence, destruction, and death and war.
Yeah. The only way to destroy them is to cut U.S. funding. Cut U.S. funding.
All that nation is leading into is doom. With that idea,
oh yeah, I think Israel. I don't wish for them to be destroyed, but
nation is war. That's all they understand.
They're like, you know, those movies in which they're zombies, and the only thing you can do is you have to kill the zombie because if you don't kill it, it'll keep on trying to kill you.
Yeah,
they're like a germ. Yeah,
they don't care what you wish for. They want destruction of everyone but them.
They're like vampires. You're breaking
They see the world as zombies, and they are the good guys.
Oh yeah, they think that they're the humans and we're the zombies. They're in for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
All right, Kunle. You're breaking out, Kunle.
So they're helping.
Yeah, these guys are not human. I hate to say it, but they're not human. Yeah. Even the German soldiers, once the German soldier sees that he's outnumbered, he drops his gun and he waves his hand. And if you raise your hand, the German soldier won't kill you during World War II. But these Israeli guys, they're taking it to another level. Last thoughts on Falabi. We're going to head out.
My fear is that if Israel continues to attack Iran's oil installation, Iran might decide to close the Persian Gulf or Red Sea, and this can harm global economy because they can become very, very, paranoid and begin to do things like that. Also, this might bring nuclear weapons to the table. Pakistan can decide to supply Iran nuclear weapons. You never know where this will lead. We only know where it starts, really.
All right, so thank you.
I think Iran are very
thank you, everybody, for watching our show. So we're going to...
I was going to say, I think Iran, are we still there? Don't tell me I'm gone again.
Yeah, no, we're not gone yet.
Yeah. I think Iran are very smart. I think they're going to take... Yeah, I think Iran are very smart. They're going to take time before they respond. And I don't think they're going to respond violently to America. They might use some kind of sanction on the Hormuz Strait or some other attack in the UN by way of moral attack, and then pound Israel. I don't think that they may necessarily decide on militarily because they're very smart. I think they're even holding back against what they're doing to Israel right now as well because they know the repercussions if they allow. So I think Iran are playing a long game, and I do think they're holding back. A nation that sells drones to Russia, sells them to Russia, not buys them from, sells them to Russia, is a nation that does not need Russia's help when it comes to missiles for air defense. And I think I'm seeing so many pictures from Tehran, peaceful pictures of people reporting from Tehran like nothing's going on. I don't think that, I think they're ready for trouble though.
Yes.
So I think their missile system is more sophisticated than we can imagine. Yeah. All right. Take us out of
down. And I think that's as far as Trump is going to go. And Trump is going to, because Trump has got to get his base back. He needs to apologize to his base and get them back on track. So he can't sustain anything more than that. So I think that Netanyahu is still in trouble. I don't think that is the end. I think he's still in trouble. I think this is more token.
What they did to Mussolini by the time the day is over. Mm-hmm.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Take it out of Falabi. Yeah.
Okay, it's been another brilliant political show. We have been discussing Iran, Israel, and the United States. And from Kule, myself, and Mustafa, we'll be back again.
Okay, Falabi, you and me in exactly 1 hour to quickly talk about the South Africa match.
Okay.
Thanks.